So, start out. We're talking about shechting for a sick person
So
on
we're in Siman
Shabbos.
Shkoyach. Siman Shkoyach in the Shulchan Aruch Shin Chav Ches,
Yeah.
talking about
And we're also talking about shochat, but it's not shochat with the ches, it's shochat with a kaf. But anyway.
whatever. That's next. That's
Yeah.
next. This week I think it's still Shkoyach.
Yeah. So shkoyach. Well, next week is also starting and then
Yeah,
going
I
up.
think 3 weeks. The Elul is Shkoyach, and the Zayin Tishrei is going to be Shochat.
No, but like this next one, it's part and part. It kind of jumps back and forth a little bit.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, maybe
Anyway,
the
on
Sekumim. Maybe
Arishenim
the
Nefesh
Sekumim.
Levikus Shesh Levenu Basar Nevela Shenitu Machile B'Shabbos Lechela Sheish B'Sakona Bli Lasim B'Shabbos. So the Rishonim, they argued about what happens if we have treif meat in front of us, we have non-kosher meat in front of us. And this we can, okay, it's in front of us. That means we can give it to somebody, to a sick person, that meaning a sick person who is in danger, right?
Right.
It's a person who doesn't just mean he has a cold. It means he's sick with something that's dangerous to his life. And we can give him this meat without doing any forbidden work on Shabbos, right? You don't have to slaughter it. The question is, so what's better? We should transgress Shabbos to feed him kosher meat, or better not transgress Shabbos and feed him not kosher meat. You can only do one or the other. So das Rashba Shabbos dechuya he eats up koch nefesh v'lo yibutra. So by the Rashba, Shabbos is pushed off rather than becomes permissible. Right? So there's two things: dechuya and utra. Meaning, Shabbos nidchis mipnei pikoch nefesh. Shabbos is pushed off when you have to save a life. B'chol davar she'ena breira elu l'tchis amlasat sladim. Any kind of thing that you don't have a choice but to push it off in order to save the person. Aval ain't shahab Shabbos hutter l'gamri. We don't say that Shabbos has become like permitted altogether, or like that. What's a better word for it? Like
You know, just think, yeah, I wanted to point something out, 2 points on that. Because the nidche, just to be like, being too medayik here. But number one, it's not that we're mechalel Shabbos kedei lasos tafash, whatever, like lahatzul nafshe. We don't break Shabbos in order to save somebody, which is sometimes the wording people use. No,
it's almost funny because these two terms
what?
are almost they're the opposite of how you would usually use them a little bit, right?
Well,
Because usually when you say nidche, you mean pushed off the gamri.
Well, so hold on, no. So that's what I'm going to get to next. Hold on. So hold on. Listen. So first of all, nidche and the fact that we push Shabbos off. You're not breaking Shabbos in order to. Mamash push it away to save this person. Now, when it comes to nidche, there is such a concept in halacha where nidche legamri, but but it doesn't usually actually operate that way. If you look halachically, when something is nidche, there still remains an element of the thing. For example, Tisha B'Av. Tisha B'Av, when we push the fast off, the fasting part, taka, is pushed till Sunday. But on Shabbos, there are still restrictions because it's Tisha B'Av. Now, not eating meat, you're allowed to eat meat, etc. But there's still things, if I remember correctly, maybe possibly like husband and wife are not supposed to be together, etc. Like, there are things that it still is Tisha B'Av. Even though it was Nidche, it still is the thing.
Right.
So, and I think that proves the point. Like, when something is nidche, it does not get nidche legamri, unless it does when we say it does. But bichlal, it's not totally. It still is the thing. It's still that day. It's still Shabbos. In
that case, the only reason it's pushed off all day is because Shabbos is the whole day. So
right. So what I'm saying, so when it comes to our purposes of what does nidche mean, nidche is not, and what do we do when someone's to save someone's life. We're not mechalel. We don't do any sort of necessary evil, or, oh, you know what, sometimes you got to break Judaism, you got to break Shabbos to save a life. No, Yiddishkeit, Torah is what saved the life. Torah is telling you to save the life, and this is how you do it. There is a process here, there's ramifications, there's a system, and here you have, we push the restrictions of Shabbos off in temporarily, both in time and space, meaning both like for the moment and in specific ways, which is why it's so important to know what's allowed when. Not just, okay, anything goes anytime. Like,
right. So this is what the Rashba holds the Chuya. Meaning that it's not that Shabbos is completely undone. It's not a weekday. It's Shabbos still. So anything that you have to do for him, and you have to break Shabbos for him because you have no choice, fine. But when you have a choice, you don't break the Shabbos. So therefore, the Rashba holds that better to give him the non-kosher meat than to break Shabbos. Which, by the way, there's practical applications of such a thing. What if there's a sick person? It's kind of sick person who has to eat, and the hospital that you're in, there's no whatever it is. It's not in a Jewish area. There wasn't time to arrange kosher meals there before. So the only food to eat is non-kosher food. So either you have two choices: you can obviously get kosher food, or you can, or he has to eat the non-kosher food because he's a sick person that's endangered, and he has to eat, or will become more endangered.
Right. Or I would say also another thing would be, for example, it's even at home, but let's say, the in-home nurse or the cleaning lady, whatever, has their own lunch, and you see that, the meat is necessary for the person's survival. For example, and we'll get into this later, but let's say a pregnant woman, and she has an extreme craving, and she realizes, she smells this, I need meat, I need red meat. And you're like, whoops, we didn't cook any red meat for Shabbos. So it's either she has what the neighbor's cooking or the cleaning lady's cooking. There's stories of this, of someone, my pregnant neighbor knocked on my doors, and I'm so embarrassed, but I just push it. I can't. I'm smelling what you're cooking, and I need to have some of that. And we'll get to it later of how that taka is something very whatever. But yeah, or so either you can have that's already cooked, but it's treif, or it's the vela, or it's treif animal. But here we're talking about just the vela, still cow meat or whatever. But yeah, or I can take out of the freezer a patty and cook it with official and then I start making Shabbos. So either, which one do you do? Right, either the hospital thing where you either go out and buy, or you have what's on hand, or even if it's at home, it's what's around. You're not bringing any Shabbos, but it's treif. Or I can take it out of the freezer and cook it, but yeah, then I'm breaking Shabbos.
Right. So the Rashba holds that it didn't become a weekday. It's just you push off just the things that need to be pushed off that you can't do another way. So he holds you would give the treif meat. However, the Das Maram Rottenberg, that Shabbos is hutra nefesh, meaning it becomes like a weekday. You do whatever you need to do. It's like a weekday. Therefore, according to him, you slaughter for the sick person. Even when you have, which by the way, I'm not so sure about this, about what he's saying here. Because because to my recollection, which could be totally off, the basar b'chalav bayin ayif is midrabanan. But the reason basar b'chalav midrabanan is because you might get confused, being that you're required to shep an ayif.
Wait, what do you mean basar b'chalav is midrabanan? What?
No, here he's saying by a bird. By poultry.
Yeah. By the issue of basar b'chalav is talking about yeah.
Yeah, but here it says, which I don't know if I sense this could be a mistake here. That afilu kisheyesh lefanenu nivlas eif ha'asura b'achila rak midrabanan. I don't think that's correct. I think shchita by the eif is not midrabanan. If I recall right, the shchita is mideiraisa. But mixing it with milk is and in fact that's the reason, or at least one of the reasons, why if I mean this is a while back when we were learning this again with Bas B'Cholim. But if I, it's right in the pretty much in the beginning, right in the first simon over there. That the reason that they made this what do you call it, this rule about poultry or birds, whatever, is being that you're required to shech, that you might confuse it with red meat. Isn't that the reason for Bas B'Cholim midrabanan?
I don't remember the shechting element. I just remember wow, because meat looks like meat, and people are going to get it confused.
No, but then they said, and why not by fish? Because fish you don't shech, so you're not going to get this. You're not going to get confused.
Interesting. So we were shechting. Interesting. Right. So
But
you look at a tuna steak. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Good question.
but to
By
my
the way, I'm gonna
recollection,
have to. I'm gonna have to get you a.
the shechita of an eif is not midrabanan. As far as I remember.
Right. That's I'm gonna have to get you a lapel mic over there because can't hear like when you lean away from the computer. The echo in the room is just too. Maybe also some soundboards on the walls or something.
Yeah, maybe. I might do that. I might get some foam board dampen.
Because it's very echoey. Very interesting point. Yeah, I got ask him. Yeah, what maybe he's trying to point something specific out. Or yeah, maybe it's just a mistake. I don't know. I like again a lot of this material is based on the Eretz Yisrael. It's just the Eretz Yisrael ones. It's not necessarily. I don't think that it was written by two of you.
Right. Anyway.
Without two of you.
However,
okay.
Right. So now we have
the point. Hold on. So the Ashba says, go ahead, give the nevela. The Maram Rottenberg says, no. Your nitcha, it's weekday for you. Do whatever you got to do. Anything goes.
Meaning not just to be over on a Torah prohibition, but even if you're being over on a rabbinical prohibition, better to do the thing that's prohibited on Shabbos than do even a rabbinical prohibition. Why? Because the guys are 6 years to cut it. It's no Shabbos basically.
Oh, so meaning better go ahead and cook on Shabbos, which is a day raisa, than it would be to eat a chicken parmesan sandwich, which is only a derabanan trait. Like let's say,
yeah, exactly.
Right? Like again, and we're talking chicken, the kosher chicken. Like let's say your cleaning lady used your chicken and cheese to make a tray sandwich for herself. So it's better go and do a day, mamash a day raisa, cooking the meat, than it is to be eating what's even it's only a derabana.
Right? Why? Because he holds Shabbos futra. Shabbos is it's like a weekday as far as you're concerned right now because you're taking care of the sick person. So therefore, there's no prohibition. So better to do no prohibition than to do a rabbinical prohibition.
Right. Not right. I'll say. I remember when I was going to say this before, but I think it's more apropos now. Yeah. So I'm glad I waited. But years ago, when I was Shabbat's Masifta, it was Rosh Hashanah night in 1070, and I passed out. I fainted. I'd like to believe it was Kollel Eretz Hatzvi, but really it was because some guys decided to have fun and make a giant whirlpool in the shvil, make it waves going back and forth, and I had barely eaten because the oil that day and everything. But anyway, so
you're the guy the Buchan we're talking about that stepped into the shvil and got punched.
Actually, I got kicked, but whatever. That's not the shvil. I did step in the shvil and get kicked, but I meant was not the shvil. I meant the washing machine. Between the beam and the Arnkaider.
Right.
They decided to make it go back and forth. Anyway, so I passed out, and a friend of mine schlepped me out. Ellie Goldstein schlepped me out. Bendy big help. Yeah, and Baruch Hashem went right into an ambulance. For some reason, the guy in the ambulance, the EMT, thought misunderstood, and he heard that when someone said I fainted, he understood it to mean that b'chalal I faint regularly. Like this is an outstanding medical condition, but I have to go get treated at a hospital. Like there's something going on. I came to, they gave me a little bit of grape juice, whatever. I came to, I'm like, no, I don't regularly faint. I'm feeling much better now that I have a little bit of grape juice, a little water in me. And he was like, it's not a problem. And he was worried that I was trying to be overly prone. He was like, I have to tell you, I'm not, by me driving you to the hospital right now and driving back, I'm not breaking anything. I'm not doing anything extra. You're not helping me by saying I don't need a ride. Like, it doesn't make a difference. I'm here, Hatzalah, like the whole thing. And there's even a whole opinion that he can drive himself back because otherwise guys might not want to be so quick to drive people to the hospital when they have to walk so many miles back from the hospital to Grand Heights because they're not right next to Grand Heights, a lot of them. So whatever. So it's the whole thing. Like, he's like, but I remember the Nakuda, what he was saying, I forget the exact wording, but it was along the lines of like, I'm not doing anything extra. You're not like saving me from, it's all okay. Like, I'm doing this, and this is exactly this Nakuda of like what the Madame Rumberg is saying. But it is that it's all.
Interestingly, then you have another svara, which is you have the Rebbe and the Rosh Naran, who they hold like Maram Rothenberg, but for a different reason. They hold better to Shetrim or whatever, to whatever other biblical prohibitions on that are mitzad Shabbos, than to give him not kosher food. What's their reasoning? The Arayvit Kosav Kivan Isur Shabbos var nitn lidachis u'masud goch nefesh. Lachein odiv laver lo Isur Shabbos lo Isur macholis asuris. Which is kind of funny because you could almost translate it as saying that he holds hutra, not the chuya, the way he puts it. So what means that already the prohibition of Shabbos has already been pushed off from the saving of the life. So therefore, better to keeping over on Shabbos things and not other things. So I guess it's not exactly hutra. He's not saying that it's. Because according to Hutra, it's in other words, it's Shabbos.
Right. But see, that would be more like it's like if you're gonna break something, keep it in the same category, fine. Only Shabbos has to be sometimes we refer to these things like sentient, like only Shabbos has to be embarrassed or pushed aside. You don't have to insult everybody, you don't have to insult all sections of the Torah. Like, okay, Shabbos has to forego its kavod for the honor of this Jew. It doesn't have to mean you have to. It's not prikas el the whole Torah. Right? Limit how many things you're being mechal, like being mechal or something, iver or whatever. Not mechal.
Yeah. So Achreinim avinu shel Shabbos dechuy v'lo yutra. So the Achreinim understand him as the Ravid as that he holds the chuya. And not hutra, meaning he holds like to the Rashba hold that it's only pushed off for exactly what you have to do, but not that it's like a weekday. But still, he holds that. Why? Again, like you said, because better to do a prohibition in the same category than open up a new can of worms. Harosh Kasav, the Rosh writes, Shem Ochidla Yikit Ben Avela, Lo Yirtze Lo Ichla, Vistakin. He says something else. He says maybe you can have a guy who he's very frum, and he'll refuse to eat an avela. You say, wait a second, we have either kosher meat, or which is a funny thing because why would somebody refuse to eat an avela but would agree to eat food cooked on Shabbos? But whatever, I guess that's more of a disgusting thing to somebody, right? Here's a forget an avela. Here's a pork thing, right? But on the other hand, the fact that the kosher meat was shechted on Shabbos, it's not as it doesn't come around so bad.
My phone overheated for some reason, and then so it shut me out.
Oh, maybe it's sometimes when the sunlight comes in and hits it, sunlight can do that.
Yeah, I'm parked in the shade now, but I don't know.
So
fine. This is right. It's a little different. Fine, yeah.
Right. So that's what the Rosh says basically that the guy, for even though really one's a deiraisa and another's a deiraisa, right? Well, this one's a biblical prohibition, that one's a biblical prohibition, but to eat not kosher food is the sick person is gonna find disgusting. He's not gonna do it, and now if it comes out, you just put him in more danger.
Oh, that's really interesting. So that's more mitzad the gavra, not so much the chetza. the Gava, the person will be like, I'm a from Yid, I'm going to do such a thing?
Right.
No, that's weird. No,
Right.
I can't.
So again, the Rosh, the key thing here is that both the Ravid and the Rosh, well, they're different, I guess, because the Ravid, what he holds, even though he holds the Chuya, what he holds in a sense is closer to Hutra. Because he holds in general do something in the same category. The Rosh is more like zooming in on this very specific case, where like the Ravid can be applied a little more across the board, right? If it's in the same category, so anything in the same category, better to do something in a different category. Okay, that has a wider application. The Rosh is specifically talking about really he holds like the Rashba. But the guys that really better to give him the give him the treif meat. But the guy's is gonna be disgusted by the fact that it's treif meat. He's not gonna eat it. Now you just put him in danger.
Mm.
So it's a much more zoomed in sort of thing.
Right.
Noran Kosa. The Ran writes, Mishum shebenevela iver alav b'chol kizayis ukizayis sheicha. So the Ran says something else. He says, hang on a second. He says, Benevela, why? He says, even though he holds, again, he holds like the Rashba. But what? He says, but if you're going to give an Avela, every kizayis that he eats is going to be a new prohibition. Or on the other hand, Shchita b'Shabbos, it's also one time. He did one Isser of Shchita. So in this, you only did one prohibition. If you're going to eat the treif, you're going to. So really, he holds better to give. In theory, if let's say, which is funny because that means that the nafkin by him would be. Well, what if it's less than a kazayis of nevela that he needs? So according to him, you would give him the nevela. You would give him the treif.
Right.
It's because his whole problem is that by eating multiple kizaysim, you are now doing multiple prohibitions, whereas the shchita is just one thing. Fine. So that's the backstory. Now the Shulchan Aruch, we go to the Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch Pasak, right in Shin Chav Ches Yudalit. Haya chayla sheyesh beisakana. If there is a sick person that is endangered, tzarich basar, he needs meat. Sheichatim la, you slaughter it for him on Shabbos. And we don't say, let's feed him an avela. So, which would seem he holds then like the Rashba. And no, sorry, other way around. He holds like that the question is gonna, I think, is gonna be, so does he hold that like the maram that it's hutra, or does he hold it because one of the other reasons? But in either case, he paskins that better to break Shabbos and shecht for him and not to give nevela. However, if the guy needs meat right away, on the other hand, what if the nevela is it's ready, it's right here? The shchita, you have to go shecht it. You can't, it's not. And now you'll find, but it turns out he needs the meat right now. Then certainly you feed him nevela, because either way, you don't endanger him, that's for sure. For sure, you don't endanger the guy. So if all things being equal, and either it'll take the same amount of time to get it to him, or the amount of time that's a difference won't endanger him, then you break Shabbos, says the Shulchan Aruch, says the Mechaber, rather than giving him nevela. However, if the nevela is going to be faster and he needs it right away, and the shchitas take longer, then give him the nevela. Why? Because at the end of the day, you do what you got to do to save a life. Why? That he should not be endangered by his food taking longer to get to him. Because of the Mishnah Brura writes, if the sick person is a minor, not like a Pittsburgh steel miner, but like a little guy miner, and under bar mitzvah, minor. Then for sure it's better to feed him the non-kosher. Why? A person, a grown person, or they say it in the ghetto, a grown tuchus person, right? Shouldn't come to shecht for him, because now you find you have an adult doing a prohibition. Where as opposed to the nevela, you'd be doing, the kid would be doing it, who doesn't have the chiyuv mitzvahs. So now we go to a similar but different case. What if the sick person needs warm, he needs hot wine? I guess that was a certain kind of I don't know for medication exactly, but something I guess that would help sick people. And certain things would be hot wine.
It should just be heated. It's not necessarily boiling hot. You know, it's like having tea, but make sure you have more.
In the Gemara, it says, in fact, in the original Gemara that we had, they were talking about different kinds of sicknesses. One of the opinions there was dangerous to eat hot bread.
Right.
Of course, we know that the nature of people has changed since then, but so maybe it's not anymore, but I don't know. In any case, so he needs warm wine, hot wine, whatever it is. The bottom line is you're gonna have to warm wine, hot wine, it's gotta be heated up, right? And you have kosher wine in front of us, but you would have to heat it up on Shabbos, right? It's not warm. You'd have to cook it. Or you have yayin nesef, or you have non-kosher wine, and it's hot already. If we're talking about its actual yayin nesech, we won't get into, I guess, right now, but there's different things that make something yayin nesech. Some of them are biblical, some of them are rabbinical, some of them are things that the rabbis added on. So there's such a thing as a yayin nesech midrabanan. Biblically, it's not biblically it's not unkosher wine, but rabbinically it is not kosher wine. So then, if it's yayin nesech mamish, it's a Torah prohibition, and automatically the halacha would be the same, like we just spoke about. Would be exactly like we just spoke about. Because what did we spoke about? We spoke about, I guess, to make it simpler, we spoke about, should you break Shabbos, or better to do a different prohibition? So yayin nesech, I guess it matches really according to all the svaris, because yayin nesech also is I forget what the amounts are by yayin nesech, but it's a new prohibition. If you so according to that, according to all of these svaris, would still be the same if it's yayin nesech menatera. However, so that's a Rashba on the flash case yayin nesech. According to the Rashba, better give him the treif wine, because Shabbos is only pushed off for what's necessary to push Shabbos off for. It's the chuya. Ve'ilu l'das Maram Rottenberg, v'chein l'das Rai v'drosh v'ran, and according to Maram Rottenberg, who holds putra, and so too according to the Rai v'drosh v'ran, who really essentially hold like the Rashba, but for various different reasons, which would also all apply by yayin nesech, by not kosher wine, biblical not kosher wine. So they would say, better give him the better break Shabbos and warm up the kosher wine, but not give him the treif wine. The Shulchan Aruch also passes this way, of course, like we said before, unless the guy needs this right now, and it's going to take you time to heat up the wine. Even though you're allowed to do that, but the problem is it's gonna make a delay, and now you're endangering him. So in that case, obviously, if if it's not all, there's like a Latin term for all other things being equal. You know what I'm talking about? I don't remember what it is, but there's like a Latin term that like when you're weighing different svaris, right? When you're weighing different logical things, or it's used in economics also. Because in economics, right, you're measuring this and that and the other, right? But you're not operating in a vacuum. In the meantime, the whole world, everything was changing. What if there's a pandemic? What if there's there's a term that's all else being equal? Like we're ignoring everything else going on in the world, which is why economics is such a tricky. You
I
can
mean,
get all the logic right and still get it all wrong.
ceteris paribus or something.
What's that?
Ceteris paribus means all
Yeah,
other
I think
things
that's
being
it.
equal.
Right. It's like all other things being equal, meaning
Interesting.
we're gonna hold our discussion in a vacuum. Right. So here's the problem.
Right.
The problem is, so all other things being equal, that's this that then you go by these svaras. But if one's gonna be faster than the other, and the guy needs it now, then obviously you're gonna do that one. So all of these svaras only apply when it's either the same speed to get it to him, right? Or alternatively, it's let's say it's a 10-minute difference, but by waiting 10 minutes, he's not in any greater danger.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that now, what if we're talking about not yayin nesach mamish, but rather yayin nesach? That was in the hands of a not Jewish person. That the prohibition is only rabbinical. So now there's going to be a difference between all these different opinions. That according to the Rashba, the Rashba holds you can even give him treif wine. That's mamish treif. That's mamish biblically treif. So certainly he would hold that you would give him the rabbinically not kosher wine rather than break Shabbos. However, the Maram Rottenberg, the Shabbos Sutra, filu keneged Rabbanon, right? According to the Maram Rottenberg, we already said that it's like a weekday, so you wouldn't even do a rabbinical prohibition, right? So in his case, you would give him you'll still break Shabbos even to warm up the kosher wine rather than give him rabbinically prohibited wine. Right, so so now we have to figure out how about the Ravid Rosh Ran. That what do they hold? They really hold like the Rashba, that Shabbos is the Chuya. It's only pushed off for what's necessary, and they have alternate reasonings why in that specific case you would give him you would break Shabbos rather than give him the treif. So now we have to look, does it apply to this case also? Would they also hold this by rabbinical that you still would break Shabbos or no? Meaning by the Ravid you have to figure out if he holds that since Shabbos var nitna lidachis, meaning like we said before, at least stay in the same category of prohibition, right?
Right.
But okay, would that apply by rabbinical or no? Furthermore, the Rosh who says that what if the guy's going to get disgusted by it and he won't eat it? Now you're endangering him. Will he get disgusted the same way by a rabbinical prohibited item, by a rabbinically prohibited item, or he's only going to get disgusted by a Torah prohibited item? And the Ran, to figure out, he's going to drink. He's doing with every drop, right? Not just with every kazayas, right? Because yain nesach, I guess, is every drop is an iser. So he's doing an iser with every drop. But he's doing a rabbinical iser with every drop. So again, the question would be, would he still hold this by yain nesach, like by nevela, or no? So me'abach ilif nebach, it comes out that the Rosh Naran, it also goes by iser midrabanan. he holds that they would also have to do with this. So better to, Taka, they would hold better to break Shabbos and give him the treif wine. But from the Alter Rebbe and the Mishnah Berurah, it comes out they hold that no, he would, in that case, they would, which the truth is, in principle, they always hold like Diravid. Besides, for each one has a special reasoning why by Nevela. So the Alter Rebbe and Mishnah Berurah hold that no, Taka, these reasons would not apply. Their reasoning that they're using would apply in the case of a biblical, but in the case of a rabbinical commandment, it would not apply there. And really, it seems like and therefore it's Memela is like automatically. So well, especially since that's how the Alter Rebbe says, so by us that's for sure automatically. But better to so the what do you call it is the psak, it would seem is to be that you would better to give them to do the rabbinical prohibition than the Shabbos, than to further break Shabbos. Being that it's rabbinical, and therefore, on the other hand, if it's a biblical prohibition, then it would seem better to break Shabbos than to do these at least when it's like something like an Avela or whatever, Yain Nesel, these kind of things that have ongoing. So who is the one, when you have a sick person that's in danger, who is the one that should Chaim's here. Let me go off over here. 1 second, let me stop my live stream.
Okay, have a wonderful day, everybody.
Chaim, can you make me the 1 second. Am I the host? Because I don't think I can. Oh yeah, I am. Okay, I just had to hit okay. 1 second.